Hi, my name is Keaton Corman, and the topic I'd be talking about is why you should know how to parallel park. I'd be presenting this to the College Environmental Club. The first thing that I'd like to know about my audience is some relevant demographic characteristics. The first being socioeconomic level. This would help me to know their price range for vehicles, whether they have new cars that have a backup camera, which is super handy for parallel parking, or whether they don't, and I don't want to overestimate the group's budget because that could make some members that don't meet that budget feel bad about themselves, and we don't want that. The next one is transportation means. I'd like to know if the group as a whole tends to do public transportation. I do no good by telling them how to do it right now, but I tell them why it's important to know that in the future. I tell them some of those benefits. The next thing is location. If I can know their location, I can know the size of their town, how relevant knowing how to parallel park is for them now. Knowing if it's relevant now or for the future helps to build a person-to-person, friend-to-friend relationship rather than me telling them a bunch of things for them to do that by themselves. I'd like to know some of these things because it's important for me as the speaker to not stereotype them as I go. According to author Barbara Tucker's Exploring Public Speaking, published in 2020, avoiding stereotyping is important because you cannot assume you know everything about an audience just based off of one demographic characteristic. She goes into detail about 11 of the most common demographic characteristics and how knowing those as a speaker helps you to adapt to the audience, not stereotype them. Some questions and things that I'd like to tackle on the psychographic characteristic list is something that they would believe. They'd agree with me because they're young, just like me. They are inexperienced drivers comparatively to, say, their parents or their professors. Something that they would value a lot as college students: money. They know that a lot of money counts, maybe have loans, so I would like to appeal to their sense of financial need. Paying fines and parking garage fees adds up for them, and I can appeal to them through that way. Then the last thing that psychographic need that they would have is from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. On that table, I'd select friendship. The reason I'd select that is because they're in a club at a college. They would like to seek friendship from people like-minded to them. And I don't think that's an overgeneralization. I just think if you're in a club, it's very common that you like friendship, that you like to be around other people like yourself. Knowing some of these things about their psychographic characteristics as a group helps me to prepare for this speech. The big thing is I can appeal to their financial need. I can appeal to the fact that they value money, and knowing that can help me persuade them better. Just going into that as a introductory to this part of how I would talk to this audience, my purpose is to persuade them. It'd be a strategy for me would be to help them understand that they would be saving money, and it's not just me giving them baseless information. This helps them save money. It helps them save mileage on their vehicles. It helps them save time because there's less walking to and from. Something I would avoid saying is words like gas or gas mileage, because at an environmental club, it's likely that at least one of their members may be against gas vehicles. And so just to avoid that conversation as a whole, I might use words like juice or battery or mileage as just leave it like that. For those reasons, it would just be less likely that I would have a disagreement, which would kind of damage the rapport I build with them as an audience. Thank you all for listening.